Hi, this is Mike from ServiceTracker. I'm just going to give you a quick demonstration of the ServiceTracker Mobile App, which you can download from iTunes or Google Play. Once you do, you open the app, log in using your username and password, and then the first thing you will do is download and refresh all of the data. And what you see depends on your permissions and the visits you've been allocated. The first screen you will see is the ServiceTracker menu, lots of icons, lots of buttons to push, and you can even click on the menu in the top left to access more items, such as looking at your visits, refreshing your data, and perhaps going into the View Offline Data section, which we'll come on to later. Back onto the home screen, and we can tap on Start Work, which logs an activity, and we can complete a vehicle inspection. On the home screen, you've got the ability to search, so you can enter some characters, maybe the site name, visit number, part of the address. That will then come up with a list of all of the search results. Instead of searching, you can also use the My Visits list on the home page to look at some of the filters, like what's overdue, what have we got on today, next 7 days, what's coming up in the future, and what is nearby. You can also see your completed visits from this screen. They're all color coded, so you can see the yellow is a fixed visit, blue is a routine, and there's other colors for visits as well. You can move visits up and down to plan your day, and you can also view your visits on a map to see exactly what the locations are. You can use the search from this screen, or you can use the filters at the top to just show jobs, for example, or routines. And then you can click on the two arrows pointing away from each other to plan a route and see how long it will take you. And then on the Nearby tab, you can set a radius to see what's in your vicinity. You can change that if you like, and that will show you what's nearby. Back on your home page, you can click on Events, which allows you to log your breaks, log any time off, and you can also create individual events, like, for example, a brand new job, or a new lead, or a meeting. It's easy enough. You click on the record type, lead in this case, fill in all the details, and then you click Create. On the home page again, you can click on your View Portfolio to see everything that you've got assigned to you, and from here you can also create call-out visits. So you tap on the little run-in person, set a time, set a description, add something in there, and then right at the bottom you click Create, and that's your call-out created. You can also click on the search at the top, which allows you to then search by client or maybe site address to view that contract. Back on the home screen, you can click on Documents to access certifications, insurance, standard documents for the company. And that's pretty much it for those icons. Now we're ready to start looking at a visit. So I'm going to go into My Visits today, tap on a visit, and I'm now in my visit detail. And the first thing you'll see is a big red banner saying there's other visits due on this site. You can use the top buttons to update the location. You can click on the events icon over on the far right hand side, and this just allows you to log perhaps a telephone call to say you called the site or you did something before you arrived. And then back on the visit detail, there's a few things we can do before accepting the visit, like change the due start date, perhaps change the owner, have a scroll through and just look at what you need to do on site. For example, the items that you need to inspect, the actions. You can take a look at some of the information that's provided about skills. You can also click where it says the street name, and that gives you directions to the site. Just tells you how long it's going to take you to get there. Just opens up in Google, and then you can click your back button then to go back to the visit. From here you can also look at the internal notes, so if anybody's added any internal notes for you or you want to add your own, you can just type them in there. You can look at the visit description just to give you more information, and then you can look at the contacts, who's on site, what their email addresses are. You can look at the alerts, who's going to get the finished service report, and you can click on the map to show you if there's any other visits in your area. You've got the ability to look at attachments, so previous visit reports perhaps, or any site-specific documents. And you've got the opportunity to look at any inspections to see what's due on that site. The last thing we do is check out any actions, just to see what people have put on there previously. And then we can just take one more look at the visit under additional information, and just before we can accept the visit, we know exactly what's expected of us. So right at the top you can now click accept visit. It tells the office you're happy to do that and you've got all the skills. Start journey, so you're on your way. Arrive, obviously when you arrived on site, and now you've got the ability to edit the visit. We can click pause at any time and you can unpause when you're ready to start again. But we're ready to start filling in the visit information. So just by scrolling through, you can click on various pick lists, you can enter tick boxes, you can put in information by either speaking it or typing it, and you're basically just filling in your service report as you would if it was a paper-based report. So keep scrolling through, entering all the information you can. Obviously you're doing this while you're inspecting and you're walking around the site. You can put in various fields. All of this is customizable, so you can also add your own fields of data, change some of the lists. It's entirely up to you how you want this screen to look. Recommendations usually comes last after we've inspected everything on the site. So we're going to click on inspections, tap on an inspection item, and again you can just scroll through, filling in the information. We can put in any prep and waste or materials that we've used just by picking from a list, perhaps then add in a quantity, selecting the prep, the waste, the materials that we used, and then clicking save. This will then come through onto the report. We can click inspect, which allows us to say yes, we've inspected the item, and it removes it from the list. Let's just quickly inspect the next item, and then we'll create our own inspection items. You can click the plus once more at the top to create a brand new item, or just scroll through the list of what's already on site, tick the box, click the double arrows at the top, and now we've added it to the visit. You can then inspect that in the same way that we just did by clicking inspect, or you can edit the item by clicking the pencil and just going through that inspection item screen and maybe adding some details like access details, for example. Changing the default analysis, which will allow us to put in things like the number of flies. So we'll just choose EFK analysis for this item, and then you can change other things on the inspection item as well. You can add a barcode or maybe update another pick list somewhere, and then click update. We're back to the inspection now, and you can see we've got our EFK analysis that we added ready for us to put some values in, and then we're just going to inspect this item, putting in the results, maybe putting in the reason for failure if it failed. And you can add an action by clicking on the running man at the bottom of the screen, clicking plus, and then just create an action. You can assign that to your customer or maybe an internal user to complete by a certain date. You can put in the details of the action in the text box provided, and you can also email that action to your customer if you wanted to alert them of a particular action. Just select their name from the list and then click update. This then creates the action. You can add a photo as well to the inspection, so just take a photo or pick one from your gallery. This uses the phone or the mobile device's internal camera, so you can then resize it. You can use your photo editing tools just to kind of zoom in and zoom out if you needed to, and then you can tag the photo. So you can either use the predefined list of tags, which we've got here, or you can write in your own tag. This will then again appear on the report and gives the customer a little bit more about what that photo is. When you're happy, you just click inspect, and now we've got no more items to inspect on that visit. If you use barcodes, you can also use the barcode scanning app. Scan the item, takes you straight to that item ready to inspect. Okay, so now we're ready to complete the visit. So usually I would scroll down and type in any recommendations. This just appears on the report in a brief kind of text area. And then I can set the overall level of risk. You can add payment details in there if you wanted to. You can add a follow-up date if you need to go back there for something. Now we're just creating a follow-up visit. This will appear on the mobile after you synchronize. And then we can create a signature. So click on the signature, agree to the disclaimer, and then you have the ability to select from a list of all the available people, or just select signature not available, which is sometimes the case, and just a reason for no signature. I'm going to take another signature, and I'm going to select this time somebody we know is on site. Just ask them to sign their name into the box and click Save Signature. Then just before we complete the visit, we can click on the $sign in the bottom to perhaps create a quotation for maybe a part or an extra job. Select the person's name that you're going to be quoting. This will then give you a list of all the people that are on site. You can put in a little introduction. This is what the quote's all about. Maybe put in a reference, either an internal reference or a customer reference, before we then start looking at line items. So your line items is basically your services and your products. We can just pick on one of those, perhaps change the quantity, change the price, add some details around what that quote's all about. So you click on the lines there to the right hand side, put in a 7 quantity, and then you'd hand that to your customer and say, are you happy with that? Get them to sign it, click save, and you've got yourself an agreed quotation ready to start or deliver some product. And then lastly, right at the bottom, we can finally click complete this visit. And what you may have noticed is that in the top you get a little red banner telling you that there are items offline. This is normal. It just means that anything you're doing is in offline mode, ready to be synchronized back up to the server once you've completed the visit. So you just have to wait a few seconds, and then that will then synchronize back up to the server. And then we can go back to our visit list and repeat those steps again. A couple of things to note. So changing the visit time and date, you can do that via the visit, again before you've accepted it. You can also abort a visit. So if you've arrived on site and for some reason you can't gain access, you just tick in the box to say abort that visit. Just click yes, and it creates the same visit for the same day, so you can go back and try again perhaps. Lastly, if the feature's enabled, you can take a look at other users' visits and you can assign them to yourself. So you tap on the visit, tap accept, say yes to assign it to yourself, and then refreshing your mobile brings that visit down to the phone in your name, so you can complete that visit. So that's just an overview of some of the key features of the mobile app. There are other features which you can find in the sidebar menu and at the bottom of things like your visits and your inspections. We keep on adding more and more features all the time, so keep a lookout for some of these new features we're adding. But for now, all we're going to do is click Finish Work at the top, which then says I've logged out the mobile and I've finished my day's work. If you would like to get in touch with us about some of the new features of the mobile, or you just need a hand in setting it up, then just visit our website www.servicetrackersystems.com. There's an online form there. If you fill that in, then we'll get back to you as soon as we can. So thank you for watching, and hope you enjoy using the ServiceTracker mobile application.